you're driving 80 miles per hour, how long does it take for you to go 80 miles?
Like 2 hours. You're going 80 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hour and a half. Hour and a half?
Well, if you're going 80 miles an hour,
But
it's gonna take
how
more
long does
than
it
an hour
take
and
you
a
to
half.
get to 80?
Oh, you're right.
It takes you you have to
Yeah,
build
so
up speed.
like 2 hours.
Like an hour 45.
All right. Is that right? Do we get the money?
I think that was right.
Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. I just did a video, an hour or two ago about industries collapsing, airlines, military, certain government agencies, everything falling apart because they would rather speak to the message than, make an income. Disney's falling apart. I mean, Budweiser, all these companies. And they keep pushing ideology more than anything else. The bell tolls for thee, as they would say. It's finally happening. So many people are boycotting these industries and bowing out that now Sports Illustrated, a 70-year-old company, a magazine that I used to read as a kid to follow up on baseball, because you had like 3 channels when I was a kid, but eventually you got 12 or 15. They didn't have all the endless internet and millions of channels like they do today. So when I was a kid, you had to, keep up on the magazines, and if you wanted to know what was going on, really in-depth sports. I used to watch this magazine, and then what happened? They got taken over by female CEOs. And I don't know if it's actually a female CEO, but all the things, the writers, the editors, the thing, and they pushed the message, and now complete collapse. Sports Illustrated's entire staff are told they're getting laid off. That's everybody. Why is this happening? Well, how about a 70-year-old Martha Stewart on the Swimsuit Illustrated bathing suit issue? She's not in sports. Originally, the bathing suit issue was, here's all these very famous female sports athletes, and here they are in bikinis. And guys are like, hey, I kind of like that. You're mixing sports and other things I like boobs. Martha Stewart's not into sports as far as I know. This gal's not into sports, obviously. This dude, that's right, you heard me right. This dude is not into sports, but this is a cover model. This dude isn't into sports, but this dude is a cover model. You see where I'm going with this? And then this just in November, Sports Illustrated accused of publishing AI-written articles. So they have fake writers, fake articles. They're using AI. And now the union that's involved in them is like, oh, our ethical standards are so high. From New York Post, Sports Illustrated's entire staff told they were getting laid off. I called it just 2 hours ago. I said, if they're not going to correct course, they're going to collapse. Disney, Budweiser, all these companies are going to collapse. And because they're not listening to what men want. That's why the dating market's collapsed. You're not listening to what men want. Men want an easy life, to be respected. To when they say they want something, that's what they want. And you can't force stuff on guys. But they're going to keep going with it. They say the publisher of Sports Illustrated on Friday notified employees it's planning to lay off possibly all of the outlet's staff after its license to use the iconic brand's name in print and digital was revoked. The Arena Group, which has been embroiled in scandal after reports that Fabled magazine was publishing AI-generated content, admitted to failing to make a $3.75 million quarterly licensing payment to Authentic Brands Group, which bought Sports Illustrated for $110 million from Meredith 5 years ago. If you guys have been watching my videos on a regular basis, I have said the days of 0% borrowing money are gone. You can't just borrow money for free anymore. Now it's 3 and 5 and 7% interest rate on money. These companies that were surviving by getting either grifts or gifts from venture capital, or the ones that were borrowing money so they could pay their staff and hopefully become a positive net gain over time, they're going to start failing when the free money giveaway is done. Ta-da! A zombie company. Sports Illustrated has been a zombie company apparently for a very long time. They say as a result, Arena announced Thursday it would make a significant reduction on in its workforce of more than 100 people. The magazine's unionized workers received a memo Friday telling them some employees will be terminated immediately and paid in lieu of the applicable notice period under the union contract. So some are going to, here's an instant cash payout, and others, I guess they're going to slowly trickle out under a union contract. Employees with the last working day of today will be contacted by the People team soon. The People team. That is such a... We care about you. We here at the People team and in Human Resources. Now get out. Other employees will be expected to work through the end of the notice period and will receive additional information shortly. Spokesperson for Arena told the Post that the company is in talks with Authentic Brands about it regaining the license. That's not going to happen. Why? Because the license Authentic Brands owns is worth $110 million, and they can't pay the $3.75 million quarterly licensing, which is roughly $15, that's probably $15 million. Yep, $15 million a year for the licensing. They can't afford to pay the $15 million a year licensing. How are you going to pay back $110 million? It just they're drowning, but they can't admit it yet. They say, we hope to be the company to take Sports Illustrated forward, but if not, we're confident that someone will. If it's another business, we will support with the transition so the legacy of Sports Illustrated doesn't suffer. It's already suffered and suffered and suffered and again and again and again and again. All the things. They've damaged the brand beyond recognition. Same with Bud, same Bud Light, same with Marvels, same with Disney. They're going to talk themselves right into the grave and financial collapse. They say in a statement to Hollywood Reporter, Authentic said the publication will continue. Yeah, but who's going to continue it? It's such a guys are not buying it anymore. They're not going to the websites anymore. How is this going to survive? Authentic is here to ensure that the brand of Sports Illustrated, which includes its editorial arm, continues to thrive as it has for the past nearly 70 years. It's not thriving. This is double speak. This is newspeak. That's what it is. 1984 newspeak. We're confident that going forward, the brand will continue to evolve and grow in a way that serves sports, news readers, sports fans, and consumers. But you're not. See the previous 7 clicks I just showed. We're committed to ensuring that the traditional ad supports Sports Illustrated media pillar has best-in-class stewardship to preserve the complete integrity of the brand's legacy. Blah, 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 corporate speak, corporate speak. This means nothing. You're committed to ensuring that your traditional ad-supported Sports Illustrated media pillar has best-in-class stewardship to preserve the complete integrity of the brand's legacy. That is nonsense. That is corporate speak for, I don't know what's going on. I've been in enough, I've been high enough in the corporate world to know that that's basically like word salad. They're toast. They're saying, they're going to try to say, look, we can still be a profitable arm. We can make the right company money. We'll do well, blah, blah, blah. But if you just look at their financials, they can't. If they have to pay $15 million a year for the licensing, and yet the main company is saying, okay, they're not paying us because they can't afford to, but someone else needs to take this brand and you can pay us for it. As a business company comes forward, they're going to say, okay, you value it at 110 and you want to charge $15 million a year. Basically, that's you want 10% of the quote unquote value. Except the company that just folded, that was running this, they couldn't afford it at a 10% value. So we're going to value it at 3%. Maybe they finalize at 5%. Maybe the name Sports Illustrated still continues, but for what? For what reason? It's not doing the brand is so tarnished, it's toast. And when this happens, they assume, hey, we're under new management. We've got new editors and writers. Come give Sports Illustrated a try. And people today, for the most part, I think, are going to say to themselves, there's independent content creators that I watch. There's other places. I follow people on Twitter or other social media sites that do a better reporting of this crap than you do, and it's free or it's ad supported. So why would we pay money for Sports Illustrated? Why would I give you a click? And besides, it might even be AI written. The magazine's union, their members also called on Authentic to ensure the continued publication of Sports Illustrated. Yeah, I'm sure you are, else your union is toast, and all those lovely, tasty union fees and dues go away. We fought together as a union to maintain the standard of the storied publication that we love and to make sure our workers are treated fairly for the value they bring to this company. But they're not bringing any value. You see what I'm saying, right? They're not bringing any value. You're not paying the bills. Therefore, you have no value. Your union, your people, your brand, your writing, the covers, the people that you're talking about, there's no value here. And they're worried about the union, and they're worried about the union members. And I get worrying about the employees, but when the employees destroy the company and the company folds, the employees can't complain. Same thing happens like if you look at McDonald's and some of these fast food places in California. They're saying, we want $15 an hour. Okay, but it's a minimum wage job. We don't care. We want a quote unquote living wage, $15 an hour. So the company says, okay, we're going to just replace you with robots. Oh, that's unfair. Well, you asked for it. You're too expensive. Robots are cheaper. We're going to raise the prices. We want $15 an hour. Okay, we're going to raise the prices of McDonald's now. That going and getting a Big Mac and fries, that's now $15 or $18. Oh, there's no more customers anymore, and nobody's buying fast food. So we have to close the business now. Oh, how dare you, McDonald's? You're doing it to yourselves. You're doing it to yourselves. Idiots. They say we will fight to continue, Mitch Goldich, NFL editor and unit chair of the union, wrote. He said, Dear all, January 18th, we were notified by Authentic Brands Group that the license under which the Arena Group operates the Sports Illustrated brand and SI-related properties has been officially revoked by ABG. As a result of this license revocation, we will be laying off staff that worked on the SI brand. What I notice he doesn't say in here, however, he doesn't say the fact that we didn't pay our bills. We didn't pay the money to Authentic Brands Group, ABG, that we owed them for the license. Hence, that is why we're getting canned. All impact employees will receive severance pay, will be entitled to any applicable warn or notice period outlined in the union agreement. Some employees will be terminated immediately, blah, blah, blah. We appreciate the work and efforts of everyone who's contributed to SI branded business. Remember, this is some of the replies. Remember when they were excited to get Sports Illustrated every week to see who was on the cover? That was one of me. That was one of us, me, when I was a kid. But, that's when it was good. That's when it's good. It's not good anymore. The magazine, first published in 1954, 70 years ago, was owned by Time Incorporated until 2018. And then Time wisely sold it off, and then it's gone downhill ever since. Because these are 2022 and 2021 covers. They went woke, and they got broke. Michael Jordan was the most pictured cover athlete, appearing 50 times. Long considered a standard of excellence. That doesn't matter. They're not anymore. Sports Illustrated cover was for decades the #1 star-making vehicle in sports. It's what Carson was for a comedian or SNL was for a band, except now SNL doesn't mean anything because they went woke. Now going on Carson, which was the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, that doesn't mean anything anymore. Why? Because they're all political. They only let on lefties now. They don't even. You watch and they have political pundits on these late night shows. And SNL went woke. They're not even funny anymore. They're all struggling. They're all meaningless now because they decided to take the pop the pill of woke and ideology instead of just being a magazine or a TV show or whatever for everybody. They chose sides, and they chose poorly. They say that things got this bad this quickly is unfathomable and totally avoidable. They ran out of money, and they can't afford to keep borrowing money. That's what happened. In November, the magazine came under fire when it scrubbed its site of AI-generated content that included bylines and photos of fake authors, per a report from Futurism. So you got fake authors, fake photos, fake writers. Why? To save money so they could afford to keep putting this crap out, even though they were broke. Just weeks after that, the Arena Group fired CEO Ross Levinson, who has served in the role since 2020. So he made it, 3 years? In December, a spokesperson for Manoj Bhagrava, the founder of the caffeine brand 5 Hour Energy and a majority investor in the Arena Group, who joined the company as a chairman and interim CEO, told the Post that Levinson's firing had nothing to do with the AI debacle in November. Well, maybe it didn't. But your brand is already tarnished. No one's looking at it anymore. Again, see all the previous stuff. These are not articles written by men that love sports and men that love women. Number one, because none of these models were ever in sports, like the original Sports Illustrated swimsuit model editions were. Also, these aren't women. Though Bhagrava took over as interim CEO of the Arena Group on December 11th, he stepped out on January 5th, citing a conflict of interest. He made it 3 weeks as interim CEO because he could smell the collapse. He looked at the financials and he said, how are we still in business? And they said, we're borrowing money at 0% interest, but we don't have any more money to borrow. He's like, I'm out. I do not want to be a rat on this sinking ship. Jason Frankel of FTI Consulting was appointed as Arena's Chief Business Transformation Officer on the day that Bhagrava stepped down. That's it. That's it, man. End of a brand. You know, I've said this multiple times over the last few years. I've been surprised how the stock market, you know, when my father got dementia and because he had Alzheimer's and then they said he had dementia shortly afterwards, I said to my mom, like, I'm happy to help you guys invest because Dad always did it. And I said, I'm happy to help you. I'm not like some genius, but I can at least put your money where it's safe, things like that. And because of their age, I put them into bonds, I put them into treasuries, I got them a couple of CDs. I didn't put them in the stock market. And when I looked at the stock market, I was kind of like, we've been on the longest bull run in history, and we had a bull run right through the bug and the jab and all that stuff when everything was locked down. This doesn't make sense. Like, you can't have these businesses telling employees to stay home and shutting everything down and not having the ability to sell anything and being short on product. Like, this doesn't make sense. And what those companies are doing, a lot of them, is borrowing money at $0 and then saying, well, we'll pay you back. And so I kept them out of the stock market. I am not even in the stock market right now. I got 5% stuff, like treasury. Because at some point, this house of cards has to come falling down. And we're starting to see it. Just in the beginnings. We're just in the beginning. But this house of cards has to come down at some point. And if you readjust the stock market and take out the top, 12, 15 companies, the largest 12 or 15 companies out of the stock market, it's not doing very well. It's just been 12 companies that have kept it afloat. And then when you take those 12 companies and adjust their profits and their earnings and the amount of money they say they're making, if you adjust that down for the inflation, they're not doing so well. Now, again, I am no expert in any of this stuff. It's why I stay out of a lot of it. But at this point, things are just falling apart across the board, and it's going to continue, and it's going to get worse. And over this next year, I think you're going to see a ton of layoffs. I think you're going to see a lot of companies that can no longer borrow money for free. They're not profitable. They can't borrow their way out of a bad place, and I think they're going to flop. And you're going to see the people that they owe money to, when they don't get their money now, they're going to flop because they can't make up the difference. They can't borrow to fill in that gap to pay their employees. And so it's going to be reverse domino, like starting at the bottom and working its way up of things falling apart. When you chase the message, when you chase the virtue signal, when you chase the woke, it doesn't pay the bills at the end of the day. And as more people run into financial difficulty, they're going to stop buying more and more things. And it'll be the fast food, and it'll be at the soda at the grocery store, and they'll start drinking water, and then they cancel subscriptions to stuff. They stop driving places because they don't have as much gasoline. They stop eating out. They buy less at the grocery store. And everything that they get those products from, they start losing money, and they start falling behind, and their stock starts to plummet. And then the grocery stores that, because if you look at it like consumers, let's take a restaurant chain, for example, a large one like McDonald's. They buy their potatoes from pretty much one or two sources, from my understanding. Same thing with just about everything they make. Well, if McDonald's, the minimum wage goes up and prices go up and inflation, and people can't afford the $18 Big Mac anymore, and they stop buying McDonald's, a lot of those locations close. They lay off people. Those people now don't have money to spend that they laid off. Then McDonald's as a whole, as a corporation, says, we don't need as many French fries anymore. We don't need as many buns. We don't need as much Coke product. We don't need those things. So McDonald's shrinks a little bit. Then the French fry company that they get the fries from, they start shrinking, as does the meat that they get their, horrible meat from. They don't give as much, and they start falling behind. So they have to lay off. Coke's stock falls off because, gosh knows how much Coke McDonald's buy. Coke says we need 20 or 30% less, or McDonald's says we need 20 or 30% less Coke. Coke says, wow, that's a big hit to our bottom line. They shrink. It all starts crumbling down from the bottom, and it's starting to happen. This company can't pay their Authentic Brands Group. Authentic Brands Group, they get into money problems. Then they can't pay their bills, and on and on and on. It's a house of cards, and the bottom's getting flicked out from underneath it. We're going to see where it goes from here. Guys, if you like my work, please support me at betterbachelor.locals.com. I do original content, movies every weekend. We do sports ball. We've got forums. We've got a Gilded, which is like a Discord website we all hang out and talk on. So I hope you jump over and join us today. I would appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next time.